there in the courtroom yet, I am being told, but he is the one who will read the verdict, and we know he is at the government center. He has arrived. One thing that has concerned me about this case is knowing that the names of the jurors will become public at some point in time. And why it's concerned me is because we want impartiality. We want these jurors to judge the case only on the facts and on the evidence, not because they may be fearful of what could happen to them, their homes, their families later on if they don't reach a verdict that protesters and rioters may be wanting to happen, and they could be fearful for their safety. So I want to get your thoughts about that. Vinny, I want to go to you. What do you think about the court's decision to make the names public at some point?
Well, it's still the United States of America, and ultimately that information will come out. There have been other cases where the names have been withheld for some time, but at some point they're going to come out. And that's the one thing about our system of justice is the transparency of it all. No secret courts. The ordinary citizens come down. Ultimately, we'll find out their names, but I trust that everything's going to be okay. The way this has been handled by the folks in Hennepin County, the precautions, the thoughtfulness that has gone into all this, the transparency of allowing cameras inside so people could see the evidence and hear the arguments, I think all of that will aid to make this a better process and better received by the public, regardless of what the verdict is here. So I'm trusting in that. But again, you have people out there that you sometimes can't control, but let's hope that level heads will lead here in the way that we react to whatever's going to happen just a few moments from now. I mean, it's our system. We have to believe in it. We have to trust it, and we have to accept it at the end of the day.
Right. And that's, I think, what needs to be preached, Vinny, exactly that. Respect for the criminal justice system, respect for the decorum that courtrooms in America have day in and day out, and the process that's in place, the rules are in place, and why certain things come into evidence, other things are excluded, because we can't just try a case however we feel like. It's not, we're a nation of laws, not a nation of men, and the laws, what rules, we're governed by the rule of law. It's not mob rule that should prevail. It is the rule of law that should prevail. And we are waiting this historic announcement. As we do that, I want to play another clip. We were just showing some testimony from Darnella Frazier, someone I found to be one of the most compelling witnesses in this case, the young lady who filmed the viral cell phone video. Let's take a look at some more of her testimony together now.
But as time went on and more people showed up, voices became louder. Would you agree with that?
As we understood more what was happening.
I just want to know.
What we seen.
Right.
Is how we reacted.
Right.
Like you said, the video speaks for itself.
I'm just getting word that the jury is in the building. The jury is in the Hennepin County Government Center. So as we're learning these bits of information, we are relating them to you as soon as we have them. And as soon as the court is ready to read the verdict by this jury, we're going to take you in there live. You won't miss a moment of it. Michael, I want to talk to you about some of these witnesses, some of the younger witnesses who gave testimony. What really stood out to you watching these young ladies, and how life-changing is this for them to give testimony in such an important case? I feel like their lives are never going to be the same.
Well, Julie, their lives were never going to be the same regardless after viewing what they saw. That became clear in their testimony, the effect that this event had on them. And I think it was important for this jury to hear that. I've always maintained that there were aspects of the police's relationship with the community, and particularly communities of color, that needed to be understood in order to fully comprehend the power that this event had and the reason why the world reacted the way it did. And it was spurred on by the issues that these police departments across the country have had historically with communities of color. And I thought in the testimony of those young people, I thought there was no better way for this jury to get that understanding, the effect that this had. That young lady, Darnella, who got on the stand talking about, crystallizing for America and the world what the feelings are of just about every person of color who saw that video. That person, the reason why these incidents are so hit so close to home for people of color is because that's how we see it. That could be my son, that could be my friend, my cousin, my uncle, my aunt. And it's that important. And I think that understanding the gravity of this case from the very beginning was a stroke of genius by the prosecution to put those witnesses on. And God bless them for taking the stand. And I truly hope, because I said this before, that they're getting some sort of help. I know there's counseling available through the prosecutor's office because it's not often available in communities of color. It's not something that's looked upon in communities of color as something that we need, but we do. I hope they're all getting some sort of counseling to talk through what they dealt with.
I'm in complete agreement with you, Michael. Thank you so much for that. And what we're looking at is a live picture of what's happening right outside of the Hennepin County Government Center. Let's just pause and listen in for a moment to what these folks are saying.
With their family members, with